hear that.
Made up movies, made up movies.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Made up movies, made up movies. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made up movies. Movies in your face now. Come and get an earful. Made up movies, made up movies.
Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies Podcast. I am Matt Shore, one of your hosts. With me, as always, is the Kim to my Kardashian, Mr. Michael Kolar. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm a little sleepy. I'm trying to Red Bull it up right now.
Yeah.
I forgot I was going to tell you all about this. So if you don't know anything about our podcast, first off, we live in an alternate dimension right now. People submit movies that you may not have heard of from the alternate dimension. Some might call them made-up movies. Me, I call them treasures.
Well, we don't live in the alternate dimension. We go to the alternate dimension.
Whichever. I mean, we wear our helmets in the alternate dimension, and we bring them back full of the green air fluid from the other dimension. Basically,
You're making up a lot about this other dimension.
yeah, the thing is, I don't remember our lore, so I'm just going to keep adding to it until it gets so complex it's overbearing and overburdensome.
Yeah.
You are overburdened. Cool. You can no longer fast travel at this time, is what I'm trying to say. Khajiit has wares if you have coin. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I never played that game.
Skyrim belongs to the Nords, okay? I used to be a podcaster like you. Are you understanding me? Come on here.
You're sort of all over the place. You got to get to the point of the podcast.
Our listeners send in ideas for made-up movies that don't exist in our human dimension. We use our amazing idea brains to review these movies like they actually exist. So, for example,
they are real in
the other dimension, of course. So, for example, someone sent in, you should review a movie called Zombie Guitar, and we're like, "What's it about?" And they're like, "I don't know." And so
and we're like, "Well, I guess we'll go find out."
We put on our goggles.
This other dimension.
Yeah, exactly. We go to the other dimension where the sky is green. Rogue Squadron was a Star Wars sequel that they couldn't get off the ground, and then
it was a video game. That's real.
That's true. That's a carryover. I think we're more confusing in this episode than we ever have been before. Listeners at home, if you would like to submit a fake movie to us, go to @MadeUpMoviesPod on Twitter. Please come visit me on Twitter. I'm so lonely there. Kolar doesn't visit me. It's my own barren wasteland. I have to upkeep all this madness by myself. It's so crazy.
I'm not interested since Elon Musk took over, so.
Oh, actually, this is a little interesting because my life on Twitter is so difficult and I have to field all these amazing made-up movie ideas from our listeners. I actually hired a little helper to help me.
Oh no. Oh, really?
I did. He's a new helper character on the show, so to speak.
Okay.
Since our last character, who was brutally murdered, Calendar was
dead.
such a unmitigated disaster, I think is the word that a lot of people...
Well, he was a fan favorite, you said, but I disagree.
But we only have one fan, and that's Smash Trivia, and he's the only guy who likes Calendar.
Yeah.
So Calendar, it was a living god who could control all the schedules in the universe or some such.
He said that, but I think he was just.
He was just a big lion who looked like a calendar. That's
he had access to Google Calendar, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, and he was always busy. Is the thing?
Yeah,
I don't get it. Anyway, I hired my new assistant Dee Dee, and Dee Dee is actually a mystical fairy. From the other dimension. So,
okay, great.
Dee Dee, if you could come in here, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. That's what Dee Dee sounds like, huh? Nice to meet you, Dee Dee.
Dee Dee speaks in Dee Dee's own language.
That's not irritating.
Please use the correct pronouns for Dee Dee, which are they, them. Dee Dee is non-binary. So
Okay, all right, I will.
You seemed like that was immediately going to be a problem for you. Do you not?
No, it's fine. I just, I couldn't understand what they were saying. I couldn't understand what... Yeah.
Dee Dee seems kind of upset
Okay.
That you don't
I don't know
that the people who are non-binary are real people? Is that what you're saying?
Not what I said. I can't understand what Dee Dee is saying.
What's that, Dee Dee? No, he has a pretty average-sized penis, I would say. I don't think it's super small.
All right. Well, I don't feel that. Now I feel a little uncomfortable.
Dee Dee says, well, I don't want to repeat it, but it's not flattering about your downstairs parts.
Okay, well, I don't. Is this going to be a constant thing? Like, what do they do to help you?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're still figuring that out.
And we are paying them. We are paying them money.
Yes. Well, as you know, we are currently trying to get together a Patreon so we can afford a bingo spinner, so we can pick movies out of it, and you guys can listen to that happen. But since I have to spend so much time on the Twitter answering questions from Smash Trivia about Calendar, when's Calendar coming back, etc.
And you told him he's dead, right? He's told him he's dead. And he's
dead. Yeah, that's right.
I heard that.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's kind of creepy. That's the only thing they can say is dead. That's kind of creepy.
Well,
I don't. I never thought I would say this, but I sort of miss Calendar.
Calendar's dead. That's what you wanted.
I know, but again, it's like I just don't like the way Dee Dee threatens, laughs after they say death is creepy to me.
Yeah, it's Dee Dee does have sort of a hyperfixation. Well, first of all, Dee Dee, be respectful because Dee Dee is a minor and neurodivergent, so you're gonna have to just. Those are what Zoomers say when they have any sort of problem. So just try to be respectful. I'm trying, but again, the way they are staring at me is making me very uncomfortable. Unless that work makes them feel a certain way.
So what do they do to help?
Just sort of keep me company and, keep the faith. So it sort of takes the burden off me so we can get this Patreon going. Or Patreon. Yeah, okay. I'm still not sure.
You're still doing everything, so they don't actually do anything except.
Oh, Dee Dee's looks like Dee Dee's got a little knife there. That's kind of cute.
Well, that's not cute. It's looks very sharp.
Yeah, Dee Dee is sort of threatening and brandishing the knife towards Kolar right now. It's not.
I don't. Okay. That's cool. It's okay. Ow. Okay. I mean, it's very sharp. It's very tiny, but it is very sharp.
This is not working out the way I feel like this is just going to stress you out more.
I'm bleeding. If I'm going to get stabbed during the show, it's going to be hard to concentrate on the movie.
Yeah. All right.
Can I put it in a cage or something?
You know what? I did this because I thought it would release stress on all of us. Why don't I leave the room and then you just let Dee Dee go?
Okay.
This is just ask Dee Dee to put down the knife. I'll step outside for a little bit and
can we watch the movie now? Because that's
fine. Dee Dee, you stick around. Just try to stay quiet in the background. You know what? Do your coloring book.
Right. Well,
they love that coloring book. It's actually a Neil Breen coloring book. So there's a lot of shirtless pics in there, and it's pretty.
It seems like it's only shirtless pics.
Yeah, Neil drew it himself, so
it's already colored in.
Yeah, he doesn't really understand the idea of a coloring book. He sort of just printed out a bunch of things from MS Paint that he used the fill on, but Dee Dee likes to color around the edges, so it's still pretty cool.
I don't necessarily like. No, you're cool. You're cool. You're play with your coloring book.
Just don't. If you just let Dee Dee go into their hyperfixation on the coloring book, they shouldn't be much of a problem.
Okay, great. So we can move on then, because
we do have a movie today.
Good.
Oh, we should put on our helmets, right, so we can watch the movie, or should we do that after we describe it? Which do you think?
I don't know. It doesn't. Either one is fine. I don't care.
I'm
still bleeding very badly.
I am sorry. I didn't realize it was deep.
It's very deep. It's very small, but it's very deep.
You know what? Let me get some of the salve and just sort of rub it on your body here.
All right, thank you.
Just
that's
go.
sort of not.
This is a little intimate for our beginning of the show, but I don't mind. We're friends.
I'm sort of just rubbing my shoulders, but it doesn't feel bad, so you can keep going.
It's all right. We've done Stranger Things. Let's not get into it right now.
All right. Well.
All right. I need to cool down a little bit. It's a lot of close proximity touching with somebody.
I feel flush. Let's we should watch the movie. Yeah.
So we have a suggestion here from Two Idiots and a Dog, which I believe is another podcast, friend of ours on Twitter. And they have a suggestion for a film that they heard of from the alternate dimension called Heistopus. Heistopus. It is about a gentleman thief who is also an octopus, just happens to be, and who has to steal the unstealable, $1 billion in pearls.
Oh, okay.
So
cool. Sounds good.
Put on our magic goggles and watch the movie real quick. And just put the helmet on here. Okay. All right. So I've seen the movie now. It was quite the film. And I think I liked it. I think it's hard when you get the entire thing blasted into your retinas that fast.
I know Kung Fu now, too, I think, which is
weird. That's weird. You also make super topical references, by the way.
That's from The Matrix, the fourth one.
You went from Jay and Silent Bob references to now The Matrix. You're on top of this shit. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Although you are bleeding pretty profusely still. Yeah. I didn't use Neosporin. I just used salve that I have for purposes.
It didn't help. It's fine. It'll close it eventually. It's so small.
It's fine.
This movie was interesting. It wasn't at some point you sort of forget he is an octopus because he's such a good actor. It's strange.
Yeah, so this is he's like a practical effects masterpiece in a weird way.
In a weird way, he's like that Long John Silver puppet or the Long John the guy
Davy
on
Jones
Pirates
puppet from Pirates
Davy Jones,
2. Yeah, I know.
That's CGI but practical.
No joke. I just had a very long conversation with a couple of Zoomers about how much Pirates of the Caribbean means to them. It's like one of those generation gap things where it's like we have an opinion about the Star Wars prequels and they have an opinion that's like actually they hang together pretty well as a series and you should be more respectful.
About the Pirates movie?
Yeah, I think because I don't know what is.
What about that giant lady? The giant lady in the third one that's like 5 hours long.
Well, in general how I feel about giant ladies, so
you're pro giant ladies. I'm not saying that the giant lady was bad. I'm just saying what else happened in that movie because it was dog shit.
So in general, did you see the fourth or fifth one?
I did not know there were a fourth and fifth. I stopped on 3 because I was so bored during 3 when I saw it.
I remember very specifically walking out of Pirates 3 into Shrek 3 and then walking out of that because they were both
just going into the third movies.
They were both out that weekend, and I was like, "Well, I'll go see Pirates 3. I'm sure it won't be that bad." But it was just so boring, and I didn't care about the lore. No. But I will say that if you're a big Pirates fan, I do love the first one. We are currently
everybody likes the first one. The first one's good.
We're currently recording this while the Johnny Depp trial is ongoing. Yesterday, we found out that Amber Heard shit in Johnny Depp's bed, allegedly.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy thing to do.
She's crazy. I used to find her very attractive. Now she just reminds me of Ted Bundy or some shit.
Very insane thing to do.
I'm attractive, so I guess I could be a feral child whenever I want.
Psycho. It just makes Johnny Depp they're just trying to make him look like a drug addict, alcoholic. It's I already assumed he was. I would be sad if he was a normal guy who didn't do drugs.
Right, he's a huge Hollywood celebrity.
He's a huge Hollywood movie star.
80s, and he played Hunter S. Thompson in one of the druggiest movies ever. And in court, he's like, I went back to the penthouse. And he talks at 2 miles an hour, by the way. And he's constantly trying not to laugh during his own testimony.
He's
like,
he's redeemed himself in my eyes from all those terrible Tim Burton movies he did. He's like, he's just.
I really lost respect for him with Willy Wonka. To be honest, that was the point where I was like,
such dog shit.
I think it's just because, like, I don't mind the creepy Tim Burton aesthetic of that movie, but I hate his Wonka in comparison to Gene Wilder's so much.
Yeah, I hate that movie in comparison. It's just not as good. It's just you can't compare the two.
I mean, I don't know. I like Tim Burton in general, but that one, I don't like his performance in that movie very much. And like that's like the beginning of the end for me, because I love. Well, that's what I was trying to say. I love his Hunter S. Thompson so much.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
When he's talking about going back into the penthouse, he's like, "Oh, I was going back into the penthouse to get my things," and my friend said, "Not today, not today." And I said, "Why?" And he said he showed me a picture, and there was, and you could see Johnny Depp like taking a long time to whether he should say shit like he wants to, or he's like human excrement. And he, like, takes a pause, and then he smirks slightly, like, is no one going to laugh at the fact that my insane wife shit the bed?
Literally shit the bed?
Literally shit the bed in revenge. In revenge
and blamed
for
it on
what?
The dog. I blamed it on the tiny little dog. It's so funny.
Is that what she did? I didn't hear that
Yeah,
part.
she said it was the dog. And their dog is, like, 2 feet. It's, like, it's not a very big... there's no way that poop came out of the dog.
Wasn't there a thing with the dog where it like couldn't get into Australia? Is that the same situation?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't even know if that was. I think that's they like lied about it or something.
Yeah, something
they
about
got fined.
Well, yeah, they're not going to let a dog that shits all over beds like that. Actually, they should. They might have to kennel Amber Heard. They might have to put her in a dog crate during
God
international
forbid
flights.
An invasive species comes into Australia. What the hell
is going to call up
problem?
Chazwazes.
It's going to die. Whatever goes in Australia is going to die. There's everything there kills, for as far as I know.
So, whoa. It's not Bulgaria. Be respectful.
Yeah, well, it's not.
People
as bad as
of value live in Australia. It's not some crazy.
Sorry.
Jeez Louise. Oh, no. Here comes the hate mail. It just started coming in from Bulgaria. I'm sorry.
It got here fast, considering they barely have a government.
Listen to Unhappy Meal, episode 2, if you want to learn more about the truth about Bulgarian McDonald's is. But back to our point, my long story short on this shit was that during that trial, he's talking about, like, what are his objects of value that he considers very important. He's like, objects from friends like Brando and Hunter Thompson. And it just made me so happy that in Johnny Depp's mind, he considers Marlon Brando and Hunter S. Thompson equally important, like, role models.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. He's just a cool guy. Great.
So anyway, yes.
Speaking of cool guys.
Davy Jones, he's an octopus. And this movie, that's how we got on this Pirates kick, because the tentacular action of the Heistopus was very similar. But I do think that, forgive me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the Heistopus a practical creation, whereas Davy Jones was just a very hyper-realistic CGI?
Yeah, Davy Jones was CGI. This is practical effects. And I think according to their IMDb, they had 9 puppeteers, which is, so like 1 for his head.
9 puppeteers? Oh, right.
Yeah, then 1 for each of every tentacle. Which is,
I was about to correct you. Oh, forgive me, but I believe the correct number of tentacles. Well, I would imagine...
I believe an octopus has 8 tentacles.
Are you counting? Because, like, if I remember how... It seemed to be similar to the Jim Henson effects of, like, the Ninja Turtles movies, where it was, like, they have somebody on remote control operating the face so it can, like, contort and move an animatronic, and then you have, like, people Doc Ocking his arm. I guess, it's, like, literally like Doc Ock, where it's, like, you have these arms and they have to operate.
They were moving constantly, so those 8 people were, like, definitely putting in their work, but it seems a little... Like, you could have 4 people, would probably be just as fine, right? I don't know if I would have noticed a difference.
It seems like there was a lot of... I don't know who directed this movie, but it did seem to have, like, a Terry Gilliam-style flair to it, where it's like, I think in theory this is supposed to be a children's movie, but it constantly wanted to go to a Monty Python level, where it could operate for adults, too, where it was just, like, pure
Yeah, it was
Pink
trying to be
Panther.
subversive.
Yeah. Like, opening shot is just this slow, it's like almost like Jaws-esque. You just see this like ripple of this object moving through the water and coming to land, and it's the octopus. But it's like done in this like sinister kind of way, and then it like gets out of water and puts on like a gentleman's top hat.
Yeah. And he puts on a gentleman's top hat, and he puts on like a mustache.
Yeah, he's got like a jaunty mustache, much like similar heist and art expert Mordecai, the Johnny Depp character.
Yeah, and it was very yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't think about it. Yeah, I know what you're talking
movie that he did. That everyone was like, "What are you doing? Why do you keep playing these characters?"
This is all I have to get away from Amber. Yeah, I gotta do something get away from this fucking psycho.
Maybe his life was so deranged that he just needed pure whimsy. I almost accept every choice he's done if that was the case.
Yeah, right? He's just like, I need something I just gotta keep my mind off of this fucking terrible person in my life.
Oh my god. They were together, it seems like a long time, too. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this. I guess I'm just relieved.
It's fun. It's like the longest, it's a televised, so you get to watch all their dirty laundry, and it's fun. It's just, it's voyeurism.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I love the hot goss aspect of it. But
yeah, it's hot goss. It's just hot goss.
But I think what I really like is just a situation where the man wasn't the scumbag for once.
Well, I mean, Johnny Depp is still pretty much a scumbag, but he's a cool scumbag.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still a Hollywood celebrity. I'm sure he's done terrible things.
He's still a skis, but he's like not as bad as.
But he's, you know what I mean? It's like when we get into the nitty gritty of it, she was way worse than whatever.
He just likes being famous and doing drugs. It's good for him. I don't know.
I guess, like, especially after The Sound of Color discussion, it's like, wow, there really are just so many horrible men, and just like absolute power corrupts absolutely, and all these men are awful, and then it's just like when you saw that first video about Johnny Depp, it was just like,
here we go again.
No, somebody you could used to think is like a lovable weirdo is now the worst person ever. But no, she was
just
staging this shit. Like she's like a legit sociopath. That's so crazy.
Pretty cool stuff.
It's like, I'm actually relieved that on occasion women can be just as bad as men.
Yeah, like 1 out of every 100 times.
1 out of every 100 times. But still, it's not completely one-sided. It's just mostly one-sided.
Boy.
So, the Heistopus is, like, sexy.
He's sexy, and there's, like... Because he uses his tentacles to, sort of, like, build his own body up, which is weird.
You mean to make himself a little bit more manly? Well, because he wears
like
costumes.
A little buff. He wears costumes, but he's like he's buff. He's buff for an octopus. I never thought I would say that. I've never said
he does
a buff
this
octopus
thing
before.
where it's like because he's flexible because he's got no bones, right? He's just got tentacles or whatever. He's a series of fluid-filled sphincters, right?
That's what an octopus is. They're a bunch of 20 connected sphincters that fill with fluid occasionally.
He also continually throughout this movie says, well, let me wet my beak. And it's like, okay.
I know. What does that mean? He did it and he does.
But it usually just means he wants a drink. He's not even using it for the metaphor it is. Like,
well, they use it a lot. Like, he drinks a lot. He goes James Bond hard. And I think
he does. But he's sort of like Pistachio Disguisey a little bit. He's sort of like a master of disguise when he's like...
Yeah, well, they sort of like... They're like, well, he can blend in with his surroundings... Like octopus, like I guess some octopus can do, where they change color and stuff.
What's weird is that he seems to really hate. I thought he would be doing like more stuff for like sea animals for charity, but he seems to care about like human kids and human charity with his like gentleman thieving rewards. Like that's
he resents. It's almost like he resents coming from the ocean.
I think there's just so many like predators that like eat his limbs or whatever, or his kind's limbs, because he's not like there's no explanation for why he's sentient. It's almost like in this universe, octopuses are just like this.
They just everybody just accepts it, and everybody like they just assume he's a gentleman thief, and he's like he's pretty well known. Like the FBI has like him on their top 10, and they don't like. It's not like, hey, look for this octopus. It's just like,
but they play with it a little. I mean, there's something about this guy that just seems suspicious.
What can I figure? Is like, well,
right,
octopus.
But they never like the running gag is that they never officially call it out, and it's like
there's something strange, and I don't quite get. How can he be so many places at once? It's like he's got 8 hands.
Probably the most risque moment of the movie is, and there's like this really beautiful actress who is sort of like almost like a Madeline Kahn type, who's just like the seasoned comedy actress, and she's just like she plays one of his like major love interests in this movie. Kimberly. And they're in like a hotel room in sort of like an Austin Powers-y suite kind of thing, and she's like, it's like one of these moments where you think she's gonna discover, like maybe this is the person who discovers that he's an octopus or whatever, or like has some revelation about it, and she's like reaching under his, like he's dressed at that moment in his Bond-esque tuxedo, right? And she's like rubbing his like body where I don't even know what the middle part, it's just sort of like the big head part of the octopus, then like legs. There's no middle really, so it's impressive.
I don't know what I guess it's like one of his legs puffed up or something.
Probably,
that's the only thing it could be. Yeah.
Or like 2 of them balled up to be a midsection. Sort of.
Yeah.
But
I think
like,
that's what...
But like she's rubbing him. She's like, "Hey, wait a minute!" And this is like one of the most risque parts of the movie. She's like rubbing him, and her hand goes below, like off camera while she's rubbing him. She's like, "Hey, so I guess you're Jewish, huh?" Like, I don't know what she's doing down there, but it seemed pretty risque for a PG movie.
Yeah, and you're like, he is circumcised, I guess is what she's saying,
right?
But
which is
I guess
it's a weird joke because like it implies that most of the men that she's been with have not been circumcised or something. But like, but
I mean, she's from South America, so that tracks.
What do you mean? Is that common? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do you not know anything about South America?
I don't know. I don't think South America is some wasteland like Bulgaria. I don't think
it's not a wasteland. It's just a cultural thing. America cuts off people's foreskin here like it's fucking going out of style.
Isn't it healthier though?
No, it's not healthier. That's a lie they told you. It just makes it feel worse for you to jack off, Matt. That's all it is.
Really?
Yeah. They mutilated you. They mutilated my boy for no reason.
I mean, I don't really want to go into too much detail about this, but this could be an episode of Revelations today.
I'm just saying. It's true. They just did it for no reason. But again, you don't want to be the only person who looks like that in your own country, right? Because that would,
I know.
Then you'd be the odd one out. So,
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is maybe I should go to South America.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about you. Yeah, you learn something new every day.
I'm saying allegedly.
Cool.
Allegedly. This is a comedy show.
Cool, man.
We're not going to go into too much detail about our people parts. Oh,
no.
No,
well,
Didi. Didi, get your hands off of me. No, I'm not showing you. Okay?
Looks like Didi wants to perform a bris on you there, Matt.
Didi is not an accurate representation of non-binary people. She's a
moil. They're a moil.
You just said she.
Sorry, I was also talking about them cutting off your foreskin too.
Didi is a weird fairy from the other dimension. She is not a satire of any specific person or group. What?
You just said she. You said she.
I have been canceled just now. I'm just getting word in.
Maybe we should just cancel Dee Dee. Did you ever think of that? Because it's like they don't really talk. They just sort of mumble in this creepy high pitched full. Okay, well, she's got the. It sort of sounds like Golem. They sort of sound like Golem, but they just ow. Bite. Everything about them is so sharp, and it's very frustrating.
Dee Dee, go back to your coloring book. This is getting to be another uncomfortable episode. I'd like to apologize to the people of Bulgaria, to
and
all
South
non-binary
America.
people, all South Americans. Anyone else that we should cover our bases? People from this dimension and the other one. I'd like to apologize to two idiots and a dog for spending most of their episode talking about Johnny Depp
And your foreskin. Don't forget about that.
Okay, it's long, so it's really more of a 5 skin. Let's be real.
I wish I could high five you.
Well, it would be a low 5 in that case.
Here we go. 2 in a row.
2 in a row. I feel deeply uncomfortable right now.
Well, let's move back to the octopus sex scene.
Okay, but it's all a big lead up to this fact that you think she's going to discover him, and then she makes probably the most off-color joke in the movie.
Yeah, possible. And then they have then afterwards she's smoking a cigarette. She's like, "That's the best sex I've ever had." Well, okay. It's just he's a Lothario, I guess.
He says, "I wish I could say the same." And then they get into a shoving match. They have like a pillow fight. Like he is sort of a
misogynistic.
Funny
but also he's an octopus, so is it misogynistic? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think he's just being a playful jerk in that moment. I think they share a genuine connection. But yeah,
but he has sex with like 12 other women during the whole movie.
I don't know necessarily. I mean,
it's implied that he's sleeping with a lot of women.
Well, yeah, it's definitely implied that he's a Lothario, but I feel like there's a lot of scenes where he like he'll like talk to like a coat check girl so he can go in and steal some outfits, and he'll give them.
It's just like, he's so dang charming is the problem.
And you'll see a bunch of like clothes and brassieres flying, and then he'll come out in a different outfit or wearing what she's wearing or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not clear if they had sex or they just made out really furiously in a cartoonish manner. Like,
true.
But yeah, I mean, it's like maybe he's like a sexual dynamo, but like in an Austin Powers cartoony way, where it's hard to begrudge him because he's a giant fucking octopus.
Yeah, he's trying to leave him alone. He's an octopus. He is very tall. He's like 7 feet tall.
Well, he can basically grow or shrink depending on what he needs because his entire height is determined by how much he stretches his tentacles. And it's like he can be like a toddler wearing a beanie with a propeller on it in some scenes, and he can just be like a 7 foot tall thug smoking a cigar in another. He's just like he's incredible.
But he learns about this big, I guess, satchel of pearls that this dealer has from he's at the casino, and then he's like overhears it with his. I guess he also has super hearing. Which is
it's just crazy for a character with no ears and just these big circles where they go.
I guess because they're big circles, it's implied that it's strange. But
there is that thing where they're at the casino and they play this weird game where it's like his tentacles can convey information to the rest of him, but it's also played for laughs in an inconsistent way. So it's like he's at the poker table and he's like poking the I'm sorry, it's
blackjack table.
Blackjack table. Yes, thank you. And he's like poking the dealer on the shoulder, and they turn around and he's like taking the cards and like mixing cards around and stuff.
Yeah.
But then he's overhearing this thing about the pearls, and there's like a little old man playing the slots, and one of his tentacles like slithers over and like pulls the hearing aid out of the guy's ear, and he's like, "Huh? Hello?" And he uses the hearing aid somehow through his tentacle to hear this other conversation at the other table about the pearls in the satchel. It's
The tails are sorry, I almost called them tails, but they are like sentient almost as well. It's very strange.
yeah, in a Doc Ock kind of way, but it's like, and he even has like them make like arguments. At one point, he does a "It's all right, it's okay" with the
very funny, very funny.
It's a very vaudeville Marx Brothers. It's almost like a Mel Brooksy kind of movie, which is why I liked it overall. But it is super corny and a little outdated. There are some stereotypes. It's
well, they had that Jewish line, which is like, and it is a kids movie still, right? Like it's like
right. That's what makes it weird, is that it's in that weird like Mouse Hunt style tone where it's like, wait, who is this for? Is this like a sexy kids movie? Was it a movie that was supposed to be PG-13 but it was too childish and they had to like
it could be.
They're like,
is it because like in different hands this could be rated R and probably be pretty good. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it could be rated R. It could be super violent.
What if it was Heistopus from the director of Chimp Patrol, and it's the same movie, but he's got like 8 Uzis in his hands and he's just like blasting people away the entire time?
Yeah, because he doesn't really kill anybody. He sort of just knocks people out.
He does choke a guy out, but I think it's just like a sleeper hold at one point.
Yeah. He sleeper holds people because he's a gentleman thief, so he doesn't want to kill people.
And that's like one of the major things is that like he has a code, and like
he
hates
the ocean. That's part of his
ocean. Well, I think he considers the ocean life to be uncivilized. And maybe that's where the distaste comes in. He's almost got like a Frasier-like disgust. It's like the ocean is his Eddie jumping on the couch to put things in.
Eddie, sharks eat my people, and it's distasteful. It's like, well, it's just nature. You just happen to speak English and are like super intelligent, even compared to an octopus.
So he's at dinner before they sleep together with the
Kimberly.
Madeline.
Kimberly is the name of that lady, by
Kimberly?
the way.
So he's at dinner with Kimberly with the Madeline Kahn. Yeah, she's Kimberly, and he orders shark fin soup.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Who's eating who now, big guy?" He's just like he's got like a chip on his lack of shoulders about this.
yeah. He loves eating seafood, and he does take sick pleasure in it. It's very strange.
I almost feel like there should have been, because he's something where like his limbs would grow back if they got chopped off, but that's almost too violent and visceral for this movie. I don't know. And she's got some connection as like to the pearls, right? She's like, I didn't really understand. I was not watching this for plot very closely, I've got to say.
You're watching for all the tentacles, right?
I was watching it for gags and like just like enjoying the ride. I was like, oh, this is really stupid. I can turn my brain off. I mean, we watched it in our goggles 40 seconds ago.
Your brain is sort of just attacked because it happens so fast. You can't really turn it off.
Is even though we watched it in our goggles, I remember taking a break to go piss. And
yeah, that's strange.
Are you
sure that happened?
I think I have a nosebleed.
I wonder if these goggles are giving us some sort of like bad disease,
I don't think so. I mean, when I checked it with the Geiger counter earlier, it seemed like it was like off the charts, so it should be fine.
Off the charts in the terms that you're describing is not a good thing, though. Correct?
No, it was like off the hook, like sick.
Yeah, but it's not cool. It's like maybe they're pumping us full of radiation. It got
like a perfect 10. It went like all the way to the end on the meter on the Geiger counter.
That seems bad. And
maybe it's backwards in opposite worlds. That's where we are, right?
We're just using it's like the Rick and Morty goggles. We stole that idea basically is what happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, are you saying that Elon's going to buy this podcast at any moment?
Is that what happened? Did he buy Rick and Morty?
I don't know. Does he feel like it?
Are you winking at him? He can't see you winking.
No, I'm not winking at you, Dee. God.
I don't think Dee is going to help us get bought by Elon Musk, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think Elon responds to threats that they can't understand, Dee. So
Dee is trying to seductively dance like Dee Dee could somehow seduce Elon Musk. I don't understand.
I don't.
Okay, please stop waving your little 10-centimeter fairy behind at me. It's making me deeply uncomfortable.
I'm very uncomfortable. And I think maybe next week maybe you could fire Dee Dee if that's okay.
No, I don't want to put myself in that situation.
Just let her go via text or something.
Her?
You know, just let them go via text. I don't know. What do you want me to do?
It's not easy. It's not easy remembering the pronouns when you just learn them. That's all I'm trying to say.
I just learned them from you, and it's not even. Look. Can we just talk about Septipus or whatever it's called?
I'm just saying. I mean, Septipus? Is that what you said?
Nah,
How
they
dare
lost an arm.
So Kimberly, she's like an art dealer or something, right? She's got some connection because they spent some time at a museum. There's like a gala. There's a restaurant. There's the casino. There's a lot of like spy movie locations in this.
But she's really excited to show Heistopus the satchel of pearls because it's like the main thing at the art installation.
And his goal, I guess, is to get in good with her so he can steal them. But then once he falls with her,
he falls for her, which is kind of sweet, I guess.
Yeah, and he doesn't really want to screw her over. But that's when he realizes there's other people who are trying to steal it as well. So he sort of teams up with her to like screw over the other thieves. That's how he becomes the gentleman thief in this scenario.
Yeah.
And they sort of have some conflict, right? Because she finds out that he's not just,
Well, yeah, she's like, you've been using me.
Right.
First, you've been having sex with me just to get at these pearls. And he's like, nah, baby. I'm just wetting my beak.
I'm just trying to wet my beak, so to speak. And the last time I did, you didn't seem to mind. Yeah. She has
a terrible off-color joke that probably went over children's heads, but we got it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that like you can't tell. The movie's such a weird tone. You can't tell if it's trying to be really, really inappropriate or just so absurd, and like our modern ears are ruining it. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But she has this thing where she's like a running gag where after they sleep together the first time, she's constantly embarrassing him in public. She's like, so I'm just an object to you. After we had sex in the back of the car, after we had sex in the air ducts, and she just like lists all these places, and it's unclear because they don't happen on camera. And it's unclear whether or not any of those actually happened, and they just happened off, or she's just trying to embarrass him so he'll agree.
I don't. Yeah, that is not clear. And it could have been like it seems like many days pass in this movie, so it's possible. It
feels like a European whirlwind tour, but it's not even really like, I don't even know if it's in Europe, but it does have, it feels like there's all these like snooty French people wherever they go being like, humph. And like, but they're not treating him like that because he's an octopus. They just feel like he's uncouth. I don't know.
Yeah, they're just French people. French people are dicks,
So we apologize to the...
They don't apologize to them. They won't apologize to us.
Oh my God. You're still mad about the freedom fries thing, aren't you? I can tell.
Yes, but that's not... Yeah, that is why. Okay, that's why.
That happened. I remember that vividly in high school after 9/11, and I was there.
We saved their asses in World War II, Matt. I'm just saying. And then they won't
and then
help
we
us.
saved your asses in World War III. I can quote
They
Simpsons.
won't help us invade a nation that didn't deserve to be invaded? Come on.
Oh, so just because Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, suddenly you don't want to support our pointless
Where's the
war with them?
support? Where's the support, French people? Come on.
And then Alice's restaurant at Walsh Jesuit High School changed it to freedom fries during our high school years.
And those fries sucked anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it?
No, don't learn words. I don't like that at all.
No, that was me doing the hormone monster from...
oh, that's weird, because the hormone monster sounds a lot like Dee Dee.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like a really lazy character, now that I think about it.
Interesting.
what are you gonna do? That one was Dee Dee, though.
Oh,
So you
that
can
one
tell
was
there's
Dee
a
Dee?
subtle difference in the performance.
I don't know if I can tell there's a difference.
Okay, that one, I'm not
was-
sure whether that was me or not, to be honest.
I swear that was
I'm
Dee Dee,
not
but
sure.
again, maybe not the best character.
Yes. Who was that?
Who's
Laszlo
that?
Cravensworth?
I don't know who that was.
I'm just a simple human bartender, Jackie Daytona. See, that's a character. That could be on
That's
the
just
show.
you quoting
What
the
we
show.
do in the shadows. I'm just saying, I could be on one of these shows. I could be the next Heistopus.
Not quoting directly from the shows. That's not going to appeal to anybody.
It appeals to TikTok. In fact, if this
Lubba
was
lubba
TikTok,
dub dub. That's Rick and Morty.
That's pretty good. That's
Thank
pretty
you.
good.
Oh, geez, Rick. That's Morty.
It
From
just
Rick and
reminds
Morty.
me of your bad, lazy, drunken Rick and Morty impression from yesterday. Where you're like, "Oh, please, Rick."
Oh no, Rick, we're in trouble again.
I'm
That's Morty.
Just bad quoting it. All right, let's get back to the film. So these like these bad guys, right? And they're like
Yeah.
stereotypical like bandits who wear like ski masks and like crawl through vents and are like sort of gentlemanly in their own way, but
Well, they
they're
have
sleazier.
they have the main guy Marco, who's like the
Marco,
leader.
Yes, I kind of
And he's like
loved
the
him.
yeah. I did like him too. He was very
He was great.
yeah.
He was just like, I mean, he wasn't Kevin Kline, but he was close. That's
Yeah,
what it felt
very
like.
much. He was very much like Kevin Kline.
Like it almost felt like his mustache grew in size in every scene, and it almost felt like Heistopus and Marco were having a mustache off. Like they were trying to like twiddle their
clearly-
mustaches.
Clearly
each other
rivals,
aggressively?
which was fun. Just
Yeah.
the rivalry between the two was fun.
Marco. Oh, I know Marco, all right. He's been
And you
there
think if
every
his name
step of the
and Marco,
way.
you think if his name was Heistopus, they would put together that he's an octopus, but they don't. They just think he's like, I don't know what ethnicity
Yeah,
they
because
think
he
he
keeps
is.
saying he's John Heistopus.
Yeah. John Heistopus is is that Greek? What
Yeah,
is that?
that's like literally what Kim says. She's like, "Oh, is that Greek?" It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, baby. It's all Greek to me. Let me just wet my beak on that sweet
Yeah,
puss,
he says that a lot.
that sweet Heistopus. That's
Yeah.
comedy right there.
I liked it.
But
Yeah, so essentially Marco is now going for the satchel of pearls.
yeah, and so like they're in this like, it's like there's got some heat. Like the cops are suddenly aware that the pearls are about to be stolen because of like a big argument that Kim and Heistopus have at the thing, and that they cause basically a lockdown incident because of one of their angry sex yelling matches. Their angry sex yelling is really ruining the mood of this public museum. And so I think it's like the guy, it's either a wealthy donor or like some rich dude who like has museum connections is like, don't worry, I'll keep them at my personal mansion. And like that's where the big set piece at the end sort of takes place, where it's like Heistopus versus Marco, and Kim's along for the ride too.
Yeah.
As like his sidekick cat burglar kind of.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like throwing herself at like security guards too, and being like, "Oh, I have the vapors," and really like putting it up.
Together, there is not a person they can't seduce, and it is they're quite the team.
And she sort of like has this bit where she'll like faint in front of one of the guards, and then as soon as they try to like help her up, she's like, "Did you just touch my breast?"
Yeah,
And then she slaps
will. Yeah,
Heistopus sneaks by while she's having this. She like, the funny part about it is that she like immediately no longer has the vapors as soon as she's accusing.
Oh, those vapors went away so quickly.
Yeah,
Must have
right.
been the vapors.
Well, I guess I was a little shocked out of it by your sexual harassment. And again, this is a PG movie, but you know, this is a different time. I'm not sure what time it is. It's either the late 70s, early 80s, or direct-to-video 90s. But
Let me
it's an
look.
expensive-looking puss.
2015,
this is-
Matt. You're way off.
No.
Yeah, 2015.
Why did it look so film grainy?
I don't know.
Understand.
This
Was
is
this
a
like
new
a bad
movie.
transfer? This was on Disney Plus in the other dimension. I don't understand.
Oh man, that's crazy.
The other dimension has some weird rules that I don't understand or enjoy all the time.
Well, it depends what universe you go to. Like universe 37A or universe 37, whatever they say in Rick and Morty.
We're not Rick and Morty. We never will be, okay?
That attitude.
That lady who said we were as good as Rick and Morty on Bunker Brothers was just jagging us off. She just wanted to be on the show.
Yeah, no one wants to listen to Rick and Morty. That's not the.
It'd save a lot on animation, though. I'll tell you who wants to listen to Rick and Morty is Netflix right now. What if we did animation where you just didn't see it? Sounds
we didn't
good.
see it. You mean a
cheaper.
radio? You mean a
Also,
radio show?
You can't share passwords anymore.
Netflix is. I should have bought all that stock.
Should have bought all that stock. How about that Elon Tusk buying all that Twitter, huh? Oh, Heistopus.
Heistopus.
So, like I was saying, this is the most expensive puss I have seen on cinema.
Yeah.
Especially on Disney.
I mean, that explains why it was like. There was computer technology inside of. I mean, it had 9 puppeteers. So it's like.
I am legit impressed they did such practical effects for such a late movie or a recent movie.
I know, it's crazy
because it's just like I can't think
just
of a lot of
CGI
movies that. Yeah, I mean, but it looks better than it would have with CGI. It's funnier.
I think so
because it's like. When a tentacle slaps somebody, you can hear you can see the imprint on their face. Yeah. It's also there's a good I love that when he cuts glass to get into the building, he uses his suction cups as the glass pulling.
That's good.
Thing.
That's a good bit. Yeah,
and he can climb up walls and stuff. At one point, he accidentally removes. He's patting some guy on the head, and he accidentally removes their toupee, and it gets stuck to his suction cups. He's
he's just got a hairy tentacle. It's funny. Yeah.
He puts it back on the guy's head and it's sort of backwards and all Boris Johnsoned out.
I liked it. But
it was good overall.
The heist sort of so basically what happens is they're both going for the pearls and Marco gets there first, but it turns out in a flashback you see that Heistopus had switched the pearls. Because despite his hatred for the ocean, he does have this one clam friend. And
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's another puppet. It's like a Jim Henson clam.
Yeah. And he had the clam make a bunch of fake pearls to switch them out. And it's
right, which they did during the sex argument at the museum to begin with. So the pearls have actually never been there. The pearls are actually... at the whatever orphanage or whatever he was trying to help sick kids or some shit. I don't remember what the deal with that.
He's the gentleman thief, but he doesn't care about the ocean. He cares about
he does not care about cleaning the ocean. Well, sometimes I wish this dam would burst and flood this wretched town.
But Marco's at a pearl dealer, I guess a jeweler, and the jeweler goes, These pearls are phony. And Marco goes, well, what do you mean they're phony? He goes, you've been had. These are from a clam. And it's all pearls are from clams.
And then the walls of the jewelry, fencer store fall back, and they're inside a prison cell.
Yeah,
Heistopus is outside. He's
laughing.
Yep. He's yep, I got them to clear all charges from me and my femme fatale here. If we brought in you, Marco, looks like you'll be seeing, the inside of Sing Sing sooner or later.
Sing Sing?
I guess. That's the only prison I could think of. Looks like you'll be in Alcatraz or Santa Monica or wherever the hell this movie takes place, because it's either Italy
French
or California,
Polynesia.
And it's unclear, and then the woman named Kimberly is South American. So
now let me wet my beak, and then he kisses her.
Yeah, then he kisses her, and she's like, "Ow, that's sharp." Your mustache, I mean.
I never realized how sharp your beak was. Wait a minute.
Beak! And then they all look at the camera and they start doing a dance. And then it goes to credits and they're just dancing.
They dance the entire credit sequence. And it's not like the thing where it's it cuts to black at some point. It's the entire credits. It's 3
And
minutes
it's
of credits.
Oppa Gangnam Style the entire time.
It's
I guess that should have been my tell that it
was
was a recent
2015.
movie.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like, I don't know what I thought at that point. I mean, I watched it all in 40 seconds, and I'm pretty sure I was having an aneurysm during it. So I'm not sure.
It's very possible that our brains are bleeding very badly.
So that was Heistopus, I guess. Do you have anything to add to that?
I guess I would rate that. I think this is the best one. I think this is the best movie we've watched.
This
so
might
far,
be the best movie I've seen.
in the history of movies.
If I could rate this a little bit higher than the Batman, I would, because Heistopus actually figures everything out.
Yeah, Heistopus actually solves the problems instead of losing.
Not figuring it out. Yeah, and helping a couple people, but only like ex post facto after the levees break. Way to go, Batman!
Literally thousands of people died that night.
At least he helps the richest people in the richest part of town.
Yeah, see, that's why I like Heistopus better, because he's a gentleman thief who gives back to the poor. He doesn't just help other rich people like Batman.
I gotta say this. I know we should end with some bit about Dee Dee, but I just want to say right before we started this recording, I watched a preview of Overwatch 2, and you and I have played a lot of Overwatch, and Overwatch 2 looks exactly the same as Overwatch 1. It looks...
Oh, boy.
It's the same. Like, the first map I watched was Eichenwald. It was just Eichenwald.
I've played that map thousands of times.
No, it's not even a 2. It's just an expansion. And I'm just like, ugh. But Orisa now has a new ultimate, and now I'm like, I still want to play it. So
that's what you wait. Then why did you want to say that instead of doing a bit with Dee Dee?
Okay.
Never mind. You can say whatever. Dee Dee will. I'm going to put her in a cage and drown her. If I can just catch her and just catch them, it's just hard to catch. But I will get them, and then they will be drowned. So there you go.
Hey, you said them, so we're at least progressive now. Good.
Yeah, right.
Finally.
Right. Next week, I'm gonna bring a special guest on next week, and
I don't know if you got the chops for that.
I can do a pretty mean Rick and Morty, so I'm pretty sure I got the chops.
All right, if you want to submit a made-up movie to us, we would love that. And if you just want to talk and give us feedback on the show, you can do that too. Go to Twitter, which is owned by Elon Musk now. Go to Twitter and go to @MadeUpMoviesPod and just tweet at us. You can go to our website too and look at all of our secret pro tips on how to get your ideas on the show. It's all there, baby. And please subscribe and rate and review. And if you guys know where we can get a cheap bingo tosser, salad spinner, just let us know.
Yeah. And wubba lubba dub dub. That's right.
She's biting me. Ow, 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 ow. They.